We got a great question from Wrestling Study Podcast. He wants to know, what are your memories of the vignette of you in the mental hospital in WCW? It was April 26, 1999. I think a lot of people remember that silliness. You there with your robe strutting around.
Yeah.
Was that a fun shoot? What can you tell us about that skit?
Um, well, Kevin Nash gave me that, and Kevin was booking then, and I just made the best of it. That's all I can say.
So
You
you
know,
didn't like it?
I didn't mind it at all. I mean, let me tell you something. As opposed to being buried in the desert
Well, yeah.
or having my head shaved by Russo and Bischoff. Yeah, it was really. It was. I much preferred this as opposed to that. I can tell you. And Scott Hall was in it. It was entertaining. But I've certainly been through a lot worse. I can tell you that. Bischoff and Jim Hurd and
Sean Berkey has a question about. He wants to know, of your 16 title reigns, did you have a favorite of them all?
um, gosh, it would have had to have been a time during the Four Horsemen era, which was just so great. Um, I guess when I was wrestling Dusty and Harley and all those guys, the Von Erichs, I was probably at my best back then. So
After Starcade, after the first Starcade, so like we'll call it 84, that era.
yeah, yeah. When I first won the title in '81, which you've heard me say, I wasn't ready. I thought I was.
Right.
But I had wrestled nothing but good wrestlers from the Mid Atlantic area, and I hadn't gone out and I had to get into dig into the trenches with guys that didn't know how to work much better than me, and certainly couldn't wrestle an hour.
Right.
The one thing I could always do is wrestle an hour, but they weren't always. Is what Dave would call you or you guys, Dave, principally. They weren't. They were far from 5-star matches.
Right.
Negative, maybe negative 5-star. But like I said, nothing I do was really the shit. It's just damn that iron.
Brad Brunson wants to know,
Oh,
any
I did
cool
have fun.
stories about Lee Marshall? My father-in-law has some wild stories about partying with him in London in the late 80s. Of course, he was the voice of those segments on Nitro and the voice of the serial. They're great. Tony the Tiger. Any partying stories with Lee Marshall over the
I,
years?
a couple, but nothing that stands out.